Well, that's why we're going to jump into the modern kill chain, how this functions. So first, we talked about the history. Now we're going to talk about how it functions, the kill chain. Have you ever heard of sock puppets?
Yeah.
Well, what do you know about sock puppets?
Well, I know there's the iPhone sock.
Whoa. Well, that's really bad propaganda.
Ladies, please. The iPhone sock, we should take that seriously.
Sock 'em, bop 'em.
Yeah, twist it, bop it. But there's the iPhone sock. And I haven't seen anybody make an iPhone sock puppet, but that'd be the most expensive sock puppet out there.
Yeah. Well, what I'm talking about with sock puppets is stuff.
Sock poppets?
Puppets. Is stuff like the software that the government uses, Intrepid, which is basically the ability for one person, government agent, to create a whole bunch of fake social media accounts, articles, anything, and create these false illusions impersonating real people. So in 2026, we're not using inflatable tanks, but the Ghost Army's still here. We're using, instead of fake tanks, we're using fake people.
Yeah, CCTV footage has caught a lot of these Ghost Army people.
You have evidence of that?
Yeah, look up ghosts caught on camera. Was that the Battle of Gettysburg or whatever? Some people bring cameras out there and they can see these ghostly figures. Now, of course, they're not the rubber ones, but these are probably real. But unless maybe America has already been deploying these ghosts. Maybe the ghosts out in those fields, like the Battle of Custer, maybe it's all just fake ghosts.
And everybody likes a good custard. It's called mimic warfare. And
that just sounds like somebody has a stutter and they're actually trying to say mimic, because mimics are a thing too.
You can look it up.
It's like, shout out to Waterboy. He's like, my mama said that.
But they don't have to use helicopters and broadcast stuff anymore. They just buy data. And if you think they don't know what you want, they're just over here guessing. Back in the day, they had to guess, and then they had to do a lot of reconnaissance to figure out stuff. They have data brokers. If you guys don't think that the 2001 9/11 attacks wasn't to enforce the Patriot Act because Google started initializing surveillance, consumerism, and surveillance data selling, and you don't think that was all curated so that they could start maximizing propaganda and psyops, because if they want to control you, they have to know. They can't guess. To maximize efficiency, they have to know exactly what you like and what you don't like. So they're not guessing. They're buying the data, and they know exactly what you want.
They're pulling it straight off your phone.
Right. Well, they're just buying it. We talked about Fog Data Service or BabelX or any OSTI, open source intelligent resource. They're buying these from data brokers. They know it. And we know that. We're going to talk about Google Jigsaw Unit and everything else here in a minute. But they know the psychological terrain. And so the battlefield is in your mind. It's not on the roads anymore. So what is the kill chain?
I don't know.
Well, first, you got to do reconnaissance. You got to research and know what you're going to, who you're targeting, what they believe, what they want, what they don't want, how to manipulate them. So you got to do the reconnaissance. And then you got to weaponize it. You got to make it hyperbolicized. You got to do some form of justification. And then you act. You bring the delivery. And this is where now we're going to step into what's been happening. There's going to be so much more. I already said last year, wait till 2026. It's going to be a wild one.
We're not even going to get a Christmas this year.
It's only January, and we're already 3 layers deep.
I hope you enjoyed last Christmas. I hope you got everything you wanted for Christmas.
Yeah, because you ain't going to get it according to Amazon and Alexa.
Yep.
But So let's deconstruct some of these psyops in 2026, like we've talked about. The Greenland, Venezuela, and Minneapolis. They're all connected in this matrix. They're all different chapters, but they're in the same book. So let's start with Venezuela. Or like the White House likes to call it, Operation Absolute Resolve. And let me pull up that just in case you guys are not familiar.
Operation Eliminate Nasty.
And so this is what the White House called this whole operation, Operation Absolute Resolve. A modern decapitation strike is how they coin it. But this has been a long idea of progress. So for most people, what they see is just these clips, these viral clips on TikTok or Facebook or whatever of Trump saying, Venezuela is the problem. They're a bunch of drug cartellers. And then they see these little tiny boats get bombs like, see, we're eradicating the war on drugs. There's like 3 people in a boat just out there fishing or doing something. No, they were drug cartellers and we're eradicating the problem. But this is it. This is they've been putting out these memes out there, these clips on purpose because this has been an operation. This has been a plot. And the operation is called Operation Absolute Resolve.
I know one that they've been doing too recently is that Elon Musk's Grok has been used to create child corn. And what's funny is all the elites there, you can do that stuff with any of these AI platforms, and the elites are getting the real child corn. But they're painting Elon as this bad figure and his Grok as this bad figure. So what it sounds like is they said, you're going to put these limitations on Grok and you're going to let us handle it. And if you don't, then we're going to say that your stuff is being... So you hear it's that same Project Mockingbird stuff.
You know what's ironic about that, which is another psyop, ironically. I think it was yesterday or the day before, sometime this past week, the Secretary of the Department of War, the head of the Pentagon,
the Dow,
that Fox News reporter, he just said, so we could be advanced in progressing America as being the top level in AI use and development. We are happy today to announce that we are working with X and it's Grok AI.
How about this? Star Trek real.
Star Trek original. Yes.
Winning requires a new playbook. Elon wrote it with his algorithm. Question every requirement, delete the dumb ones, and accelerate like hell. We're excited to announce the next frontier AI model company to join GenAI.mil, and that is Grok from XAI, which will go live later this month. So I want to thank you, Elon, and your incredible team for leaning forward with us on this as well. Very soon we will have the world's leading AI models on every unclassified and classified network throughout our department. Long overdue.
Yeah, I think they just recently turned their back on it because it seems like every news station now is saying the exact same thing. Line for line, they're reading out the scripts again. They're all saying, Grok has been used to produce this horrid material, so now we're going to ban it. We're going to ban Grok because it's being used to produce this stuff. And Elon Musk, he's not doing anything about it. And so they're painting Grok and Elon. And it seemed like Elon just took the wrong...
Well, that's a good form of a wedge tactic. You got to create the dichotomy. The United States government is saying we support it, we use it, and we're going to connect it to U.S. databases. And the media is showing the other side, which is it's bad, it's pedophilic or whatever, and you don't want to participate. So you have to choose a side now. You side with America, those who are fighting for your freedom, or you side with the media. And either way, if it's a psyop, it's all being curated by one entity. But you, the audience, are forced to choose a side. It's the perfect wedge tactic. But like last week, we showed Mondero, that beanie and the perp walk. And he's like, oh, yeah. And the illusion is we want to show a win. But that's a white psyop. And we talked about last week. Notice how they framed it. They framed it, what did Marco Rubio said? It's not an invasion. It was an arrest. We weren't going in to invade. We're not taking over. We're not being imperialists. We're just simply arresting a criminal. And what they're doing is playing on this psychological war reflex. If they said we're going into Venezuela and we're conquering and taking over, everybody instantly is like, oh, another war. Thinking about Afghanistan and all this stuff. It's like, oh, we're going to be here for 1,000 years. So they're playing on this war reflex. They know. We can't say that. So what we do is we don't call it an invasion. They never say it's an invasion. They always say, no, specifically, Maduro broke the law. He's on drug charges, and we're simply arresting. He said, it's an FBI arrest. Now, of course, it was complicated, so we had to ask the Department of War to help us, but it's not an invasion. It simply was an arrest.
Well, the guy should have known better. Like, you can't be that far up the chain, and you can't be smoking drugs and doing alcohol. You can't be doing that stuff when you're that high on the chain. You have an image.
But you're right, and that's why it's a perfect psyop. It's a rebranding. So you don't feel like this is an invasion of war. You feel like you're watching Cops.
Yeah, like imagine if America found out that the Chinese president was getting drunk last night. Imagine. Mm-hmm. We'd have to go arrest him too. You can't be doing this lewd stuff. Even in the privacy of your own home, you can't be doing you just can't do it, okay? If Putin gets on that level, yeah, we're going to have to go arrest him too. He's going to be caught on drug charges and all kinds of other, like, meth.
But just think about when you listen to these narratives, think about how they're phrasing the words. And of course, most people, they don't think words mean anything, but words change everything. You don't feel like it's an invasion, like we're going to war. You feel like you're watching Cops. And here's Maduro coming in and he's arrested on drug charges. We're not saying we're taking over Venezuela, but Trump will later on. He's like, oh yeah, we're taking it over, we're controlling it. But on the front side, when he's attacking, and then after the first things you hear, the very first thing, it was an arrest. It's not an invasion. So now you just feel like you're watching Cops. Like, oh yeah, bad boys.
Mm-hmm.
What
I felt like I was watching an invasion of body snatchers. But it wouldn't be an invasion of body snatchers. It'd be the arrest of the body snatchers.
Right.
I mean, you have celebrities over there, like this rapper guy. I can't remember his name. Is Jake Sheldon or whatever. Mm. And he spits in a woman's mouth. Like, he actually puts her head back on the stage, a random person from the crowd, and he spits in her mouth, and she drinks and swallows it. I was like, wow, this is the invasion. Or, excuse me, pardon my German. It's arrest of the body snatchers. People are spitting in people's mouths. They're arresting people. They're not snatching people. They're not invading. They're arresting.
Well, what else could they do? Because they need that rest.
They need to catch a body, but that's the wrong one.
Yeah, but that's okay. As long as it's all about capturing the bad guys. We're not taking over land. We're not taking over sovereignty. We're just arresting the bad guys. And that's all people care about.
Yeah.